Are you looking to accelerate your wealth? I know most people are. And so I read this book called The Millionaire Fastlane, which has kind of given me some good perspective. This book was written in 2015 by MJ Demarco. He is I would say, tech founder. He basically started that whole online lead generation that's sort of been evolved many times over since then. However, his approach, one, is kind of a no holds bar, like, let me give it to you straight, let me give it to you real, no sugarcoating. So I really like that. I like when people are direct and forward and just give me what I need to know. And there's a lot of great tips in here. I think probably since 2015, since it came out, you might have heard some of these tips in different variations, but what I like to say is I like to go to the source and read it for myself. So I'm going to give you these 10 tips that I got from the Millionaire Fastlane, which was a really good read if you want to pick it up. It's on audio, it's on actual physical read, but it's a good read, right? A lot of great tips, a lot of good perspective. And even though sometimes we know things or we've heard things, it's always good to hear it again when you're in a different place in your life and it gives you new perspective. Or just hearing it again might solidify that new perspective. I've heard many times that people need to hear things at least 7 times for them to really get it. So here you go, the 10 tips that I got from the Millionaire Fastlane. So number one tip, the first tip, is shifting your mindset. And it's important to start there because I think people minimize, right, the importance of having the right mindset from the outset. So basically the book kind of talks about the way to really fast track your wealth is to have some sort of entrepreneurial venture going, right? Some way that you are allowing your money to work for you, where you're not exchanging hours for dollars, essentially. And so that doesn't mean that you can't be an employee. However, you're going to need to have a business entrepreneurial type vehicle to basically explode your wealth and be able to get there fast, right? That's the idea. And so, but you can't do it with the mindset that I don't want to speak for you, but you will need to transform your mind. Your mind has to get there first before you will see that manifested in your life. So it talks about changing your mindset. So not just saving wealth, but creating wealth. Not just having a worker mindset, but having innovative mindset, right? To help you fast track your wealth. So that's one, changing your mindset. 2 is to focus on value creation. So I think that within the recent years, because there is so much on the internet and everyone always telling you, oh, you can just, create a course, you can just, coach somebody, you could just do all these things. People are not taking the time to really ask themselves, like, are you creating value? Like, what is the value that you're actually creating? And I think a lot of people have gotten discouraged in recent years because people are creating courses, they're selling things that they're not actually giving value to the people. So if you're somebody who actually wants to fast track your wealth, but you also want to sustain it, right? You don't want it to dry out in 2 years where people find out that you're not really who you say you are and you're not really giving the value that you say that you're giving. You want to make sure that you're taking the time to create value in what you're giving. And a really good book for that is $100 Million Offers. The author's name is not coming to me right now, but that book really talks about how do you create something, an offer of some sort, and actually give value to your target audience. And the way that you actually give value is that you figure out what is a problem that you yourself have the skills, the expertise, and the know-how to solve. And then you provide that, whatever that solution is, you provide that to your target audience. Now, you can do this through experiencing it yourself, or you can do this through a proven system that solves the problem by testing and giving it away for free and figuring out that this actually is a solution that works, right? So that's how you sort of create something that's going to allow you to sustainably help others and fast track your wealth. Number 3 is scalability. So the book talks about creating something that is scalable, being able to allow this thing to repeat without having the manpower, the one-to-one requirement that limits the amount that you can grow your business by multiples. So scalability, some of the examples from the book is creating a software system that, you know, you create one time. Yeah, it may need maintenance, it may need update, but you can sell that to multiple people over and over and over. Writing a best-selling book, a book that actually has value and can actually help people, and you sell millions of copies, and then you're, you know, obviously it's scalable. A product, you know, patents, something that you can reproduce over and over again without having to have a person to provide that particular service. So it allows you to grow faster because it's one to many. Number 4 is time management. What I loved about what was shared about time management is that a lot of times we focus on being busy and working and producing, but we're not necessarily focusing on the tasks that actually tie to the wealth creation, right? We might spend too much time on tasks that don't actually produce the wealth creation, right? That don't actually produce the end goal. So you want to make sure that you're going through the tasks, and when you're creating your schedule, your to-do list, or your time blocking, you want to make sure that you're prioritizing things that are actually moving the needle, things that are actually rolling the ball, so that you are moving along versus just seeming like you're being productive, just doing things. I have posted a ton of videos on productivities and books about productivity, and there's also tons of people on YouTube. One person that I really like to watch on productivity is Ali Abdaal. So you can follow him, and he has tons of videos on productivity to help you kind of hack getting things done quickly and efficiently, and working smarter, not harder. Number 5 is to invest wisely. So investing wisely basically means you want to invest in vehicles that offer you passive income, and you also want to invest in ways that you are diversified, right? So you don't have all of your money in the stock market. You don't have all of your money in real estate. Or so say you have your money in, for example, you have growth stocks, you have healthcare, you have energy, you have consumer staples or consumer discretionary. So you have different investments in different areas, even within your chosen investment. If you're in real estate, you're not just investing in one particular market, maybe you're in several markets, right? Or you have different type of real estate vehicles. So you're diversifying so that if one thing goes down, you're not lost completely. And a theme that I've been getting from people who have, you know, basically exploded their wealth is to make sure that you have a lot of security, right? Even though it makes sense to have a majority of your money invested because you want your money to grow and you want your money to be workers for you and multiply, you do want to also make sure that you have cash on hand, because cash is something that you should have access to no matter what the circumstances, right? No matter what the market, what happens in the market, what happens in whatever industry, if you have cash in the bank, that should be certain, right? I mean, we can't foretell everything, but I've heard that being something that's been a security for people, even though they know that they may make more money having more of their money invested. They'd rather have the peace of mind of having liquidity, right? Having access to cash. And so that's something that I took, and I think that's really a smart thing that people should sort of think about, because we never know what cycles look like when the time is coming or what have you. So just be smart about that. Number 6 is continuous learning. So this one I think would have been really helpful for me younger, right? I did end up figuring this out over time, and that's why I'm like someone who reads so much. I try to consume as much information that's helpful, that I'm interested in, and that I know that's going to build my knowledge and business acumen and basically help me in life. And so being a continuous learner, investing yourself in courses, in videos, in other types of education, self-taught education, like books are one of the most valuable things that you can get at a discount, right? Because you're getting someone's expertise, lived experience, and basically wisdom for a fraction, like pennies on the dollar, even if it's, I don't even think you can consider it pennies, because it's so minute compared to what it took for them to gather that information, or the hundreds of hours that they had to spend even writing the book. So you're really getting a value for your money. And I think that's the best education that you can kind of get. But also, if you want to save time in learning things, definitely you can invest in courses. I know I have. But you also want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence on the individuals who you are purchasing courses and things like that from. But always being a lifelong learner. I consider myself one, and I definitely think that there's a misconception that once you finish school, whether it be not primary school, but once you finish high school or you finish college, or even if you get your master's or whatever, that you're done. No, you're not done. You're never done. We should always be learning. And even spiritually, that's a thing where you should always be learning. You should always be growing, because that's what we are meant to do. Everything evolves, and everything, should be becoming better and better. Everything becomes renewed. And so we should always be renewing our mind with fresh new information. And again, different times in your life, you're going to get different perspective from things that you've even learned before or been exposed to before. You might look at it in a different lens. So always be a lifelong learner. Number 7 is to continue to build a strong network. Find yourself around people who are doing things that you want to be doing, or have a mindset that you admire and a work ethic that you admire, because then that's just going to strengthen you, and that's going to push you to do better, to do more, to be more of what you want to see in your life. If you surround yourself with people who are the opposite of that, then you're likely not going to reach your goals. And that's just something that's sort of been tried and true and been told over and over again. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend your time with. So if you want to level up, then you need to get yourself into circles where people are doing the things you want to do, and they are accomplishing at the level that you want to accomplish. But you need to build relationships with these individuals so that the value is created, and then your network sort of grows. I also want to recommend a book of a friend and a client of mine who, although I'm not, this is not because I'm getting paid for anything, but basically she wrote a book about networking called Network Like You Mean It, and really talks about how to build meaningful relationships and how to strategically network so that you can, stay connected and grow and get more of what you're looking for from your professional life. Number 8 is persistence and resilience. This is a hard one because it's hard to know when to continue and when to give up. But if it's something that you really want and you have done your due diligence that what you're trying to accomplish is needed, there's a need, there's a market, there's a problem to be solved, whatever it is, you need to be persistent. There's going to be failures. There's going to be setbacks. There is going to be frustrations. Things might even get really bad. But if it's what you want to do and you feel in your heart of hearts, and through your research and your regrouping and your developing and trying new things, don't keep doing the same thing expecting a different outcome. But if you're tweaking your method, if you're tweaking what it is that you are doing so that you can accomplish something different, or so that you can try to reach the goal, so that you can try to break through, right? Be persistent. Don't give up, and talk to and counsel with people who are going to encourage you, not necessarily people who are going to just discourage you in an unhelpful way. It's good to have constructive criticism because that helps you to sort of get better. But if you're just talking to people who are just being negative because they don't understand, then that's not the right crowd that you want to sort of surround yourself with, right? You want to make sure that you are doing things to help you push through, persevere, have a healthy body, healthy mind, healthy environment, and the right resources. Focus on resources and connections that can help you to overcome the hurdles that you're going through. Number 9 is to automate and delegate. Especially when you're creating a business, you do not want to be in a position where you are doing everything yourself forever. So when you're creating systems and processes, you want to make sure that you're creating it in a way that it can be automated, that it can be taught, and that you can delegate it to others. So you don't want to create any sort of process that you haven't documented, because then how are you going to allow someone else to do it? You have to write the vision, you have to make it clear so that you can then give it and hand it off to somebody else to run with it. And the 10th and final tip is to give back and pay it forward. I've also found this to be a theme in reading books and information about those who have been wildly successful, that giving back is one of the most important things that you can do. You know, paying it forward, finding a way to make a difference in finding a charitable avenue, an educational avenue, whatever you're doing, being able to give back so that others can also, you know, benefit from your wealth, your growth. It's not just for you. It can never be just for you. Not that you can't live your most amazing, best life, but you have to find ways that you can bless others, that you can be a blessing and pay that forward. And it's always going to come back to you, right? The thing is that it's a ripple effect. It's almost like a boomerang. The more you give, the more you'll have. And it's also what it does for your mindset, right? So you have an abundance mindset when your mindset is that I can give and I can give and it's going to come back to me. That's having an abundance mindset, and that creates abundance for you. Now, I do want to caution to say you have to allow yourself to get to a place where you have built and you have accomplished, so that you can pour out for others. Like, you have to fill your cup so that you can pour out to others. That's not to say don't give charity on your journey, right? Of course you should, but your levels are going to have to be managed, you know, along the way. So I encourage you to think about these tips. I encourage you to read the book because it's a really good read. And just think about how you can implement these things along your journey, wherever you are in your wealth journey. Implement these steps, whatever you can, as you can, and then you will sort of see the growth. Like, they all make sense, and I've implemented some, and I'm excited to implement others. And I could say that the things that I have been able to implement have been extremely helpful and on point, and it has given me really new perspective. So I'm excited about that. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope it adds value to you. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.